right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wrestling fans of all ages, welcome to an episode of Wrestling Reality Rundown. Because we're talking about a lot of stuff someone doesn't want us to talk about. So our live stream got blocked. So we're here.
God damn it, Seth Rollins.
To air on YouTube.
Ospreay.
And we'll start off with the shortest subjects we had. Oh, by the way, I'm the SKF Effect. That's the Red Standard over there. Raise your hand. That's Brett down there. And that's our Hot Mess Express and the conductor of the Drew Train, Liv.
Choo-choo.
All right. So, another match added to Impact Wrestling's Slammiversary pay-per-view event. It is an intergender contest between Sami Callihan versus Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard is beating the hell out of Brian Cage at Wrestle Circus. She's gonna beat the hell out of Sami Callihan.
I agree. And I think they would, to do a match like this, they would just have to.
And I say that with love, Havoc. I say that with love about Sami getting his ass beat. I think you'd agree. A little bit.
What?
I said I say it with love that Sami's gonna get his ass kicked before Havoc kills me, so. See, Brett knows, yeah, say it, yeah. Brett, opinions, thoughts, concerns?
I think Tessa is going to beat that ass, and I don't know. There's some people mocking Tessa being in the match online. I mean, some of it's definitely like to build it up, but then there's others that are just like, oh yeah, Sami, you should really be scared. But like, Tessa's arguably one of the best wrestlers in the world. Never mind, like, you know, separating by women's division and men's division, and she's definitely proven herself in such a short amount of time. She's earned, you know, a relevant name in the wrestling industry, and it's for a reason. It's not just because like she went off looks or whatever. So Sami's gonna get his ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
Caesar?
Yeah, I think this one, I just see Blanchard winning this one. I just wonder what's going to happen afterwards, because we've kind of discussed this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that Tessa's pretty much beaten everyone in the Knockouts division. I can't see her going back and wrestling Taya, because now kind of the characters have changed where Tessa's now a face, Taya's now a heel, but it's just that how do you kind of like, you know, transition back into the women's division after you just, you know, after you're going through a couple of the guys? And is she going to like continue to be the intergender wrestler? Because if we've seen like Scarlett, of course, was granted her release last week and she was kind of put in that role, but would they want to continue putting Tessa in that role? Because I feel she has a lot more credibility as a top star wrestling guys like, even like, you know, I mean, as Steven mentioned, like Tessa has kind of wrestled Brian Cage, and I believe she even beat him as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did win that match.
So I wonder if that's something that Impact would probably want to do.
I think Tessa winning, though, like, I don't really see... I don't know. Impact's kind of all over the place. I mean, that's not...
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if Tessa wins, I could actually see a long-term feud being made out of this match. Where if Sami just wins, I don't know. Like, I see more stock in Tessa winning, and then them turning it into a longer-term thing. Because how many times does like Sami get into a match with somebody, and then it becomes a long-term feud, and then it ends up turning into one of the most interesting things on the product? So I think they could.
I feel like what they should have done is started out with the other members of OVE and then worked their way up to Sami. Because once you start with Sami, like,
well,
she
that's one of them. That's I feel like
Yeah,
I think
Jake.
that's what
Jake.
Oh wait, that might have been
Jake,
I went to.
they did.
I don't know.
I might have seen this live. I don't remember.
Cut that out.
All right. Apologies to Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
That none of
We're
us
live, pal.
didn't actually
We're live.
match.
Fine.
Or not.
Sorry, Sami. Next up.
No, actually,
Mr.
I think Cage won, by the way.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure Cage won, by the way.
Okay. But she still took it to him.
I know.
All right. So then next up, we're going to talk about Mr. Eli Drake. Because he's been trying to make some waves for himself, posting images on Instagram and Twitter of the WWE logo leading up to Eli. All Eli wrestling. He did one where he put his face on the New Japan logo.
That's my favorite one. I love that one.
Ring of Eli.
The National Wrestling Alliance.
National Wrestling Alliance, yep. So he's trying to put himself all around on here.
All in. Wow.
So we'll see where his future might lie in regards to being signed somewhere, anywhere.
I feel like with Eli, I think one of the better places for him to be in would probably be like the NWA, mostly because I feel like the NWA, they do a great job with some of the online videos that they do. And I think that kind of helps lend Eli, because I think Eli but I think he is probably one of the better talkers in all the wrestling business right now. And I think he would really shine in those kind of videos. I don't know if All Elite Wrestling would be interested in him. I could see WWE being interested in him because he has such a great character, but it's just that would it be beneficial to Eli? Because
let's think of a really great character WWE God who really knew how to talk and be a heel, and look what they've done with him.
Stop.
Let's not mention that. But but yeah, just would the same thing happen to Eli if he were to go to WWE? So I feel like the NWA would probably be his best destination.
Yeah, that guy I was talking about kind of goes around like Brett's face right now.
Stop.
Brett?
Yes.
Thoughts? Concerns? Ideas? Predictions?
Well, we've only heard from Caesar about this, right?
Yeah.
I need a little more time to think then.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about it a little.
Live!
I said I have nothing. I don't care. I don't care where he goes.
All right, Brett, you have nothing. Where's Diane? She was the Eli fan of the group.
No, I really like Eli Drake, but I just think that, I feel like Impact was such a great place for him, to be honest, except for the fact that they just, it was a great in terms of company-wise. I think it was great. It was just they messed it up, just like they always do. But they had a great opportunity, and NWA, I'm just what? Who? Sometimes, but with ROH, I almost agree with I get what Caesar was trying to say about NWA, but I almost see that in ROH instead of NWA. If ROH really wanted to turn things in a good direction and get their name online and just in general in positive news, I guess, if you want to call it that, that'd be a great signing for them, but they would have to make something of it. Because they do have people like Marty Scurll that are actually really talented. They just have to use them better and use them in the right environment, in the right area, in the right position on the card. So Eli would be a great get for them, but I don't have much faith in ROH right now, and I don't think anybody has much of a reason to have much faith in them. But I would definitely love to see Eli and MJF, a program with them. But because I would say they're two of the best talkers, if not the two best talkers, and probably better in wrestling right now. I don't know. It's kind of a tough position for Eli.
He has options. There isn't an endless amount of options for him. I mean, I can also see MLW kind of being a place that he could go to as well.
MLW would be another great choice just for the same reasons as Ring of Honor, but It's just like when they get them, they have to do something prominent with them. And I think that's where MLW and like ROH kind of step on themselves. Is like when they do get something good, they like, as soon as the person gets on TV, you're like, what is this? Where Impact, they at least make you believe it for a month or two, or on and off.
A month.
But like Ring of Honor and well, MLW, you can't really say that about. MLW's biggest issue right now is the contracts. Like, everybody's hesitant to sign with them, apparently, because of their contracts. So you can't obviously, like, I don't know. Eli, I hope you get a good spot. You deserve it.
All right. Well, Brett, while you're talking, you brought up the next topic.
Yes.
Timothy Thatcher makes his MLW debut at July 25th.
Yes, that.
Elaborate.
I'm honestly excited for, because MLW, I think, as of late, if you guys have seen on Twitter, I don't know if you guys watch that much MLW or not, but if you stay up to date with them or have seen anything posted, they kind of are getting a lot of backlash for the contract offers that they're giving out, and the types of deals that they're lending to people. A lot of people see it as like low ball offers. I don't know if that's across the board or if what they're offering now, but Timothy Thatcher is like a great get for them. He's easily one of the better technical wrestlers, I would say, in wrestling right now. And he has like a great reputation behind him internationally and even here with work he's done in like Evolve, work he's done in PWG. He was PWG champion at one point. And I would love to see something with him and some of like the more technical wrestlers that MLW has brought in. So they have like, I know they have Simon Grimm. So I know he's a really technical wrestler. Programs like that I think would be perfect for him. And you could really see that style of wrestling that I think sometimes gets swept under the rug or not as appreciated as it once was or should be.
All right. High praise from the Invasion. Liv, Caesar, anything to add on that?
Timmy Thatcher's blah, too. I used to see him way too much in Evolve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Caesar?
Well, he's like really good at what he does, but whatever. Like,
Oh, I'm not too familiar with Timothy Thatcher, so I have nothing to add.
All right. Well, since y'all said Evolve, we're going to use that to segue into the fact that the WWE Network will air Evolve Wrestling's 10th anniversary show, which is going to showcase Drew Gulak versus Matt Riddle, as well as Adam Cole versus Akira Tozawa for the NXT Championship. And this show is going to be taking place July 13th versus AEW's Fight for the Fallen. Brett's got the glasses on because that is some shade being off.
That's some shade, that's right. And I already got my senses. They're going off. Liv's going to have some shit to say. I'm waiting for it. She loves what happens to Evolve.
All right.
She loves it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live.
I just think it's all bullshit. They're just so scared of what AEW's doing. Like, I swear they know what I'm thinking, which is why they put Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle on that show. Because, like, Catch Point's my life, but, like, fuck that. Like, no.
TJP running?
No. No. I can't even believe that was even, like, a thought in their head. Because then they're making it so obvious that it's, like, definitely a threat, and they're just bullshitting. Like, fuck them. And fuck Gabe, too. He sucks.
We hope.
Yeah,
Yep.
like promoter for Evolve.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for some comments. I was waiting.
Darby Allin said to me, we were talking because he remembered me from Evolve. He's like, you don't still go there, right? He's like, yeah, I quit there. Like, fuck that place. And I was like, and that's when I knew.
Yeah, no.
When I knew that, like, my thoughts and, like, the people that I know that worked for Evolve, not necessarily their, like, their bigger names, they were very good too, but because they knew. But, like, people like Darby and then their backstage crew, they treated them like shit. So, fuck them.
All right. Strong word. From Liv.
Much stronger than what Kenny Omega had to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to vent out? Any other frustrations or concerns?
I'm very excited about that match, though. I might actually watch that. Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle. But I've also seen that match 5 times before in Evolve, so it's not that big of a
And I believe they also recently did it on NXT.
Just did it in NXT. Remember, Amber sent me pictures.
I just think it's a shame what's happened to Evolve, because it used to be such a great source for wrestling. You could go there and you could see so many talents that honestly at times wouldn't even wrestle that much in America, but you could go to Evolve and they're there. It was a place to be at one point, and then it just turned into this WWE ass kissing.
Blood money. It's more blood money.
WWE ass kissing festival, and now it's just now they're on the network. Woo! But it's just, I don't know.
It's just more blood money.
Yep,
that's what everyone's always said about Gabe and Sal, is they wanted to just give the company to Evolve, but then they were told that it would make it more lucrative for them to keep it as their own entity for now.
Yeah. No.
It's just some tea, though.
It's just...
I miss the original Shine when they used to care and bring in a lot more people. Last time in Florida, we didn't really get much. But now they're all in New York, and they give New York decent shows. So, with the mentoring of Drew and the Drew train, let's talk about the new champions crowned at WWE Stomping Grounds, with the new United States champion Ricochet and the new Cruiserweight champion, what was his name again?
I don't even know who it was. I forgot.
Who it was?
You gotta.
I forgot who the champion was.
It was Tony Nese.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, was. I was like, wait a second. Whoa.
No, I'm
about to go off.
Potato. Or, I don't know. That's what it felt like at one point, so then I don't stay up to date enough.
I really have nothing to say about Ricochet because he's good at what he does, but I don't really care. But I think this is way long overdue for Drew. Way. I think he should have been maybe first or second. Well, not first, but he probably. I would have rather have had him.
Hey, you heard that.
No.
First.
I'm gonna get yelled at for that.
We're separating this clip and just sending it to him on Twitter.
No.
Yep. For everything I do for Brett, I gotta do this one to you.
No, please don't. You don't understand how much trouble I'll get in.
Please, I'm gonna cut it off right there.
No. At least wait till after I come back from vacation. Please. Anyways. Okay, well, I think Drew should have been he should have probably been the one to beat TJ off instead of Brian Kendrick, because I think that storyline would have been way better. I'm just digging myself in a bigger hole. But I'm just so excited. You guys texted me while I was at work saying that he won, and I literally went in the bathroom and cried because I was just so happy.
Aww. Glad we could give you a break.
Actually, a bunch of people did, but you guys were sending me the good pictures. So
I'm glad for I'm glad for Ricochet. I feel like Ricochet is gonna be a fresh face for it. I just hope he's not going to be a transitional champion. Put the belt back on AJ quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do agree with Liv. I do think it was long overdue for Drew to win. I think he should have been one of those early champions. For everything that Neville did for the Cruiserweight Championship or the division, I feel Drew Gulak kind of, especially during that off period where Neville left, and I think he was definitely shining with Enzo to the point where I think he outshined Enzo, and I would have at that point liked to have seen Drew kind of.
I thought that they would have had Drew beat Enzo at some point, but
the whole drama stuff with Enzo, and even at that WrestleMania when they were doing the whole tournament, I kind of thought, Drew was going to last till the end and maybe even win the thing. But, I'm at least glad to see him winning it. I think he's definitely one of their top stars in 205 Live. And hopefully, it's just that it just doesn't seem like the company really cares. Like, yes, they're now putting them more often on their pay-per-views, but it's just that they still feel isolated on their own island. Like, just not connected within the WWE Universe. And as for Ricochet, like, we discussed how it would kind of help the United States Championship. It doesn't really help when the next night he's already losing his first match. And, it is against AJ Styles, and I kind of think that, they're going to do a rematch soon, but I don't know. I just didn't really like them beating Ricochet already.
I'm okay with Ricochet losing on this one as long as he wins when the title's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Drew, obviously. I think
we're gonna be there for about the next 5 minutes. Folks.
No, this will be it. This is my last thing on that, because you can go to my Twitter and read all my reactions at live1122. Okay, so I think it would have been way more beneficial for 205 Live actually to have Drew while he was on his no-fly zone. That would have been way more beneficial for them as a show to have him be champion, where he had way more momentum. They kind of let 205 Live crash and burn. Like, no one really cared. Buddy Murphy was away for, a month and a half, not defending anything. He was their champion, and then just kind of gave it away to Cedric. And then Cedric moves on. They give it to whoever they gave it to, and then whatever happened.
Hey, I thought
he was champion. Oh wait, Buddy beat Cedric.
Yeah, I would say.
I don't know.
Tony.
How crazy it's been. I just think, Drew had Drew was half the reason people were even tuning into 205 Live for a long time, to see what he would do, what he was saying, his fun little chants and everything. Or
PowerPoint.
Yeah, his PowerPoint presentations. They should have capitalized on that, which is why, like I said, why 205 Live is crashing and burning. And I think it's way too late for them to have, and for me to say that, we all know me and my cruiserweights, especially the OGs. So I think that it's a little. Not that I'm obviously extremely happy that he's champion, but I think it's a little too late at this point to give him the belt. He should have had it. He should have been probably in Cedric's position, because Cedric was never really a cruiserweight. So seriously.
Brett? Anything? Nothing? Nada?
I'm not up to date on 205 Live enough to know. I mean, I like Drew because I've seen him at different shows, and I've always thought he's a really good talent. So, good for him. Hopefully, it turns into something nice. But, and then Ricochet, he's always been one of my favorite wrestlers since I, first discovered him. And found his work, saw him at different shows. So I'm happy for him as well. But it's just. I'm very unmotivated with WWE.
Next. Well, let's go to, once they actually started doing something with it, it's become the saving grace, truly, of WWE, except for one soul. We're talking about Maverick 24/7.
Next.
The 24/7 title is probably the most entertaining thing that they have going on social media. It's been
definitely
views on their social medias.
Definitely. I don't know what else we could talk about with that.
I did think that the Miss TV segment this week was pretty funny with Truth and Spud, where he said where Spud was we haven't consummated the marriage, and then Truth is you can take fiber for that for your constipation, which I thought that was a pretty funny line. But yeah, I mean, this week I thought did we talk about the video last week, or was that afterwards? Did that come out after?
I feel like most of the videos were after.
Because I thought the wedding was I thought it was well done. The only thing I just wish that when Truth pinned Spud, that like all of the groomsmen and like everyone, all the talent that were there was just chase after Truth for the championship. I thought that would have been pretty funny. Like even like seeing like Maxwell just running after Truth as well would have been pretty funny too. But but I thought like, you know, this week the 24/7 championship, it's only been between Truth and Spud or Maverick, whatever. I still call him Spud, but
He's Spud to us.
yeah. But
And I
between
thought-
those two, I thought both were just great this week. With the 24/7 championship.
I thought EC3 was going to get away with it. At least till SmackDown. But kudos WWE, you finally woke up. I don't know what took you so long. You're doing 24/7, kind of, sort of, with the 24/7 title. I love R-Truth. They're showing up at my houses. They're saying, hey, we're getting noise complaints. And I'm like, no, I'm too smart for them. This is what you're missing, Brett. This is what you're missing. You and R-Truth would get along, I think.
I like our.
Drinking Brett would get
mean, I'm just like, and I like quick point, like literally 2 seconds. I do want to say, like, I am happy that Ricochet won, but it's just I hope it turns into something much like the two. What the fuck is this shit? The 24/7 championship. Like, I want it to turn into something for somebody. I don't know what the fuck it's even called, but I want it to turn into something nice, but like. Next.
The 205. Wait, what? The
27 for the.
All right. You know what? Let's leave that. Let's leave that. Let's go to this report, which is going to lead to probably the funniest segment we're going to have. Dave Meltzer, Uncle Meltzer, noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that one of the reasons why McMahon is pushing Baron Corbin is because he thinks Corbin is the type of guy women will swoon over. The belief is McMahon tries to push guys he thinks women like, with the idea that putting them in the top position will bring in the views, and Corbin is an example of the mentality. And before we go on with this, I want to say they got hit on that on Sunday on the pay-per-view. When one of the interviewers was hanging out outside of Corbin's dressing room, he walks out of his dressing room, looks at her, and goes, "You keep hanging outside my door, I'm going to think you want more than an interview."
That happened?
Yeah, that happened. So
maybe that's just the report, so they didn't get much backlash from, hopefully, because there's no way that's even a real thing. Like,
as the resident woman of the Reality Rundown, do you swoon over Baron Corbin?
Hell no. Absolutely not. No way. Not with that hairline.
What hairline?
Yes, exactly.
So wow, someone has me really echoing right now. There we go. Okay, it's gone. I remember something like this before. And it was why John Cena was like never allowed to acknowledge Nikki Bella, and why WWE never acknowledged it is because Vince didn't want it acknowledged that Cena was in a relationship because he knew women swooned over John Cena. So this is not the first time hearing a report like this.
No, because it makes sense. That's why sometimes they don't even want the women like talking about their relationships, because you guys would be a little bit less interested.
They're throwing Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins down our throats, and if I still had the chance, I would swoon Becky. So, I don't care.
Swoon Becky.
Yeah, but this isn't even like the most ridiculous thing that's been reported, so it's easily believable.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
I just want this fucking guy off my TV because he is so fucking boring as hell. I don't understand. Like, that makes no sense at all because I can't. Like, even as a guy, I don't even swoon over him. Like, what the fuck? Like, ugh. I mean, that bald. I just kind of just get annoyed because it's like, the guy doesn't know how to wrestle. The guy, and it's not even just, no, oh, God, I'm so mad right now. It's just that he's boring, uninteresting, no character at all. Just, I don't know. I just, ugh.
But this Baron Corbin is a product of the new toy syndrome to me. Vince, he gets bored, he sees things aren't working, and he picks his new shiny toy, and that's what Baron Corbin was. And they're doing the same thing with Lacey Evans. Why is Lacey Evans competing for the women's championship so much this early in her career? And you have you have countless women in NXT who are far superior to her in terms of in-ring. Not to say Lacey isn't a star, but she can easily become one.
I'm saying it.
She can easily become one in ring, and so could Baron Corbin. But you have to give these talents the time, and if they're not given the proper time, the proper positioning, this shit happens. Who would ever get behind Baron Corbin? Or
right, I gotta stop here. I'm gonna hope my audio carries over because
McMahon likes big sweaty man. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty man. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty man. Vince McMahon.
Are you guys able to hear the song?
Yeah.
Vince McMahon
Because
likes
it's
big
true.
sweaty man. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty man.
Thank you, What Culture Wrestling, for that beauty of a jingle. And we all know it's true.
See, but I wouldn't even consider Baron Corbin like big. He's just tall.
He's a
Like
big
he has no like really besides like tattoos, which are like a thing, like a swoon worthy thing nowadays.
Ooh.
No. Nothing.
I think it's just irritating. Like, I don't disagree with people hating Baron Corbin or people not liking Lacey Evans. It's just irritating though, because like you want to blame the talent because they are on TV and you watch the match and you're like, what is this that I just watched? This was shit. But like, at the same point, like, they're putting these talents in a position to just straight up fail.
Yeah.
So
it just comes down.
It's just that to me, it's like Baron Corbin's just been in the same position for like the last 2 years. Because 2 years ago that was when he won Money in the Bank, and it's like here we are, 2019. Nobody gives a shit about him. We all don't care about his matches. His matches are boring. I mean, I just don't understand why he's still in the position that he is, considering like all the other talent that were given their chances. And it's like this guy still got his position. Like he's got a better position than Finn Balor does.
Which, let's run away from Baron Corbin to Cole Caesar down some. Speaking of Balor, I almost forgot he was the Intercontinental Champion because we haven't seen him.
That's a swoon-worthy man over there.
So not only did Balor kind of make a return on SmackDown, but as did Nakamura, and we got
He's still alive.
Nakamura versus Balor for the Intercontinental title. Something that could actually be entertaining, which means WWE is probably going to screw it up.
Yeah, I do like this pairing. I just hope that, thankfully, there's only like 2 more episodes of SmackDown until Extreme Rules. I just hope they don't do some like stupid, crazy storyline with these two. Just say that these two have a past history, talk about it, let them discuss it, and then just give them the match. Because there's nothing more that they need to do other than just present their past and let them have a blow-away match at Extreme Rules. I just hope it's because the one thing I thought about the AJ Nakamura match that failed was because I feel like they hyped it up too much, like as the dream match. And it's like at WrestleMania, it's like the audience didn't really care that much for it. They didn't really treat it as the dream match that I think a lot of people wanted to be. And I just think they just set a high expectation without really, going into much of AJ's and Nakamura's history. I just hope this time they do a better job with Finn and Nakamura. And not just with this one match, but just, going forward too, because it's like, like Steven said, like he forgot Finn was even the champion. So it's like, hopefully they're able to just have some blow-away match that will definitely raise their stock.
They need it.
Did you say that there's another pay-per-view in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. Extreme Rules.
With if it's like last year, there was one Extreme Rules match on the whole card.
Didn't one of those matches last year end in a DQ as well?
Yes. Yes, it did. At Extreme Rules, the night WWE goes Extreme, a match ended in disqualification. Yeah. All right. So, I want to laugh. I know a lot of people want to laugh. Caesar, you got a list.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Steven mentioned earlier today, we were talking about, guys getting the push because of how pretty they are and how cute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to make my own list of the top 5 cuties in WWE. So, I've got my list. I've got it ready. Just give me a sec to pull it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, number 5. This one was a difficult one because I knew my 4, but I just had a problem with 5. However, this one, a late entry. Entering number 5, Garza Jr. Of course, no, we've seen him on Impact before, and of course,
I'm saying I think Liv swooned a little bit at number 5.
Huh?
I think Liv swooned a little bit at number 5.
That's a sexy man right there. He is sexy as fuck, especially when he does the pants tear. That woo!
Which he still does on NXT.
He still does.
He pulls off his pants on NXT.
Which I'm glad that they let him keep. That's charisma right there.
Brad's blocking his mouth.
Number 4, I have listed.
Why is this happening, right?
Number 4, I have listed Seth Rollins. I think, he's very cute. He's very attractive. Nice body.
Whoa. Have him on the list after this whole week. I am sick of his face. Like, he is a cutie, but, like, I don't even want to, I don't want to hear that name this week. I don't. Not at all.
The man's man.
Number 3.
Go on. Whatever.
Number 3, I have listed Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns listed at number 3. He's a very handsome man.
We know you love him.
I love him. I love Roman. He's a good guy. I like him.
Ooh, wait, can you repeat the
Tiffany.
second to Tiffany? Wait, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So for number 3 on the top 5 cuties in WWE, I have listed Roman Reigns. I think he's very cute, very attractive, very muscular too. I like that. And yes, I do. I really have an interest in Roman. I think he's very, very likable.
Brett's joining Turtle Club.
All right, for top 2, I kind of had a bit difficulty because I thought these two men, there's very good competition here, but
too, if Roman was your number 3.
Number 2 for number 1, I kind of have trouble picking, so I kind of settled with Drew McIntyre. I think he's a hunk. That's a hunk right there. The way it's like long, straight hair, like nice beard. The accent kind of, exemplifies his cuteness too. So number 2, I have Drew McIntyre. And before I get to number 1, I do want to make some honorable mentions outside of WWE.
Please don't.
First, I'm gonna hook up my boy Eddie Edwards because that's my dog right there. I'm gonna hook him up.
Please say he's
especially considering now that boy is a cannibal. That cannibalism, oof.
Nom.
That cannibalism adds attractiveness. Mm-hmm. I also have listed. Hey, Liv's gonna agree with.
Every time you ask, 4 months. 4 months added.
Hey, okay, another honorable.
I'm currently at a year.
Another honorable mention. Liv is gonna agree with me on this one. I picked Sammy Guevara. And of course, there's no way I can go without mentioning.
I was thinking WWE we were going there, and I was like, yeah. But yes.
And the last honorable mention, I of course cannot go without mentioning this man, Johnny Impact. That's a sexy man right there.
Hard eyes.
Hard eyes for Johnny. Woo!
Wait, who?
But
5? Go through again. I know Sammy, Johnny, Eddie. Who were the other 2?
Well, no, I only had 3 honorable mentions for outside
I thought you
WWE.
had 5. Okay.
Shira wasn't even an honorable mention.
Or Grado.
Or Grado? Wow.
I'm telling. Oh wait. Okay, wait. No, I want to hear your number 1.
My number one.
It better be who I think it is.
He has a name, but what's the name? It's Adam Cole, baby. That's
No.
a hunk right there. I find him very attractive. That's a hunk.
I'm very
right
disappointed in you.
Ethan's not in the top 5.
That's what I was.
You see,
Wow.
that's because I honestly considered Ethan for the top 5. I honestly did, but I don't know. I mean,
Wait, can I go through my top 5 now?
Yes.
oh, you have a top 5.
Let's hear Liv's top 5.
I can-
Who
now you.
makes Liv swoon?
Okay. You gotta give me like 2 seconds. Go through a couple if you guys want to throw in a couple honorable mentions. I gotta think about it for a minute.
I'll give EC3 the honorable
I have
mention.
3 right now.
Okay.
You're gonna give one to Ethan?
I'll give EC just because, like, I don't know, because like he's definitely attractive. He's cute.
I'll say.
But I just feel like his hair is kind of just a little messy, and like I remember when he had like the like the
Messy?
blowout.
Messy?
I thought
I don't know. I just,
sliding into the noose.
Maybe.
I mean, Caesar, you're burying EC3 right now. This is why he's not getting a push.
well, hey, you gotta work on your looks. So while Liv is gathering her top 5, let me just go over my top 5. Garza Jr., Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, and Adam Cole.
Baby.
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 It's definitely a baby.
I don't know what that's saying. Please?
Yes.
Okay, I got my kind of top 5.
All right.
I think I have 4. All right, so number 4. I got 4. I can't really think of a 5 yet. 4, Finn Balor.
Swoon.
Swoon. Fuck off, Caesar. You picked Roman Reigns. All right, number.
I like his ass. He's got nice ass. I will say that.
I said ass.
That too.
I like his ass.
Number 3. Although I'm not like this is just based on looks alone, which is kind of shocking, but not really. If you follow my Twitter, Shane McMahon.
Ooh.
Silver-
And
No, I
this is
don't-
why Shane's getting pushed.
Yes. I would rather them say like that's why they're pushing Shane. They could use. Moving on. Drew Gulak. Shocker. EC3. Number 1. All right, continue.
Wow. No TJP on this one.
He doesn't work for
He's not
WWE.
WWE anymore.
That's like my brother.
Oh, we're talking WWE. Okay.
I mean, I can go outside if you'd like me to.
Oh no, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, we'll be here forever. I would have like a top 20.
Brett's gone to build his list.
We
All
know we know Brett loves titty red trunks the most.
Oh, all right. Well, now all this talking and swooning and all this. Whew,
Oh boy.
on SmackDown, they gave a little hint at the end of Sonya Deville's match that WWE could be trying to pull off a love angle between Sonya and Mandy. She got a little close with her brushing back Mandy's hair and holding her face. It felt like they were going to try to do something there. You know, is that going to be something WWE is trying to pull now to try to get the male ratings? Kind of like how a few months back they did the coffee boy walked in on Alexa Bliss changing, which was just awkward all around.
Next.
It still did them YouTube views though, which I mean I don't know how much they value that, but I mean it's pretty obvious why they did it. a segment like that.
Yep, they want to try to hit the views however they can.
I just think that if they were to do something like that, like they definitely need to be like very careful with what they do because, of course, you know they have partners with like Glad and you just don't want to cause like a big PR backlash. And I feel like something like this could potentially be a big PR backlash as well because it just needs to be done tastefully and with consideration.
That's why they put Bischoff on SmackDown. You bring him back.
My.
Okay.
HLA.
Can I just put in one thing though? It's along the same lines, but not really. I do think it would be kind of a good idea, only because I read something somewhere. I think it might have actually been Sonya or somebody else wrote it. If she ever becomes champion, she wants to make the belt like a rainbow.
Oh, that'd be cool.
To represent Pride, which I think could.
Naomi got her glowing belt. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Belt for being like the coolest one, and it has a lot of like emotion behind it too, which I would totally be foreseeing if that's what they would do with it.
That's
cool.
Sonya's gorgeous, and she's a badass, and I'm all for her becoming champion at some point.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay, next.
Speaking of champions, Kofi Kingston has gone undefeated since WrestleMania. Quite possibly the longest winning streak and most important winning streak of this man's career, and recently joined a very elite club of members that have held a championship for, was it 1,500 days altogether?
Was it 50? Oh, yeah, 1,500, yeah.
Yeah, my 15K is a little too much on the notes. But 1,500 days as champion, which is a hell of a record for Kofi, something well-deserved. And they say it's only of the post-WrestleMania era. And the only other people to do this are Hogan, Cena, Miz, and was it Triple H? Probably Triple H. So that's an elite group to have. That is a very high-profile, high-class group to have Kofi Kingston be part of. And damn it, I love how they've been booking Kofi. This is how a champion should be booked. Winning. To where you believe he can win. You don't want to have the champion lose all the way through.
Definitely. I think Kofi's definitely been the best book champion that they've had in a long time. As you mentioned, I believe the last time Kofi lost a match was in March, I believe, when Daniel Bryan pinned him. So he's definitely been on a good streak. And this is something that I wish that they would do more often. It's like it's such a simple thing, but yet they just don't understand how to like book champions. And not just champions, but just, talent as well, where we're just seeing guys just getting pinned 50-50 back and left and right, like Ricochet losing to AJ Styles the night after he wins the championship. It's like, that's not how you, should book your champions, because like at that point, shouldn't AJ be the champion? And yes, they're going to have a title match, but it's just that you want to present them credibly. You want them beating guys to the point where it's like where you kind of like, you see them in a light, because I feel like Kofi right now is above Seth Rollins right now in terms of just, how they're booked. It's just unfortunate that, like, to me, I just don't like Kofi being on Raw because Seth never appears on SmackDown. And it just makes, Kofi just look like the inferior champion because Seth's too good enough to be on SmackDown.
Because wild card rules to help Raw, not really SmackDown.
Exactly. But I just feel like, at first I kind of doubted whether they booked Kofi strong as champion, but I'm kind of glad to see that, they've done a great job, not just in the ring, but outside, because I still remember that Ghana trip that, they showed, and to me that was the moment that they really made Kofi look like a huge star, and I just hope that Brock's not going to beat this guy. I really hope not.
I mean, at least if he does, it's going to be in October when they get to Fox, and by that point, Kofi should at least have had a longer reign than Jinder Mahal. And to me, that's going to be the important thing.
I just hope that after Kofi loses the championship, I hope they they still keep him up there in the top position because I think he's been doing great lately.
Brett, Liv?
I agree. I'm happy for him.
Yes.
I would say Brett's like, I don't watch.
I'm happy for him because he's a good guy.
Yeah. All right, Brett, what I know you have been paying attention to. There was a recent feud on Twitter. A little back and forth. A
lot of back and forth.
Hitting below the belts in certain ways. Brett, give us a little look into on the Rollins Ospreay Twitter battle.
So Seth kind of put out there that WWE has the best wrestling in the world. And then
yeah, my thoughts exactly.
I don't fault Seth Rollins because I appreciated that Seth Rollins did this because I think it's something the wrestlers tend to lack nowadays. They get signed to a company and they don't even amp up the own product. How many times have Impact talent gone on an interview talking about how they want to be in WWE? It's pathetic. I think it's a skill that gets lost. You don't get signed somewhere or you don't go on a team in sports or whatever and you're talking about how you want to be on another team. So
that happens a lot, actually. But anyways, that happens a lot, especially in like basketball and football and stuff.
But the thing is, when you're in wrestling and you're getting a spot like Impact, how many times does Impact talent actually name a time where an Impact talent goes on a podcast and they do not bring up WWE? You can do it with MLW talent. You can do it with indie talent. None of the others are in the question ever. It's always WWE, which I get it. They're the biggest. That's cute and all. But I think it's a shame that Impact talent buy into that or MLW talent buy into that or whatever talents you're talking about. Instead of hyping up, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Christopher Daniels is one of the best people at doing this. He respectfully handles the situation where, I respect that company, but I'm working for this company right now. He's done it countless times with podcasts and interviews. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to hype up the place that you're at to be the best place to be. Because if you're at that place and you're not happy, unless something happened to where you're just writing out your contract, why did you sign with them? So like Seth.
Just to kind of intervene there, like in terms of like the podcast and the interviews, I feel like also that kind of goes to like the interviewers as well because your guest is here to promote like his stuff that he's currently working on, not on like another promotion. I feel like that also goes on the interviewers as well.
Like someone like the WWE and say you never want to go there, you're never gonna get called there.
Right.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's just that when former talent like Cody gets asked like, hey, you ever think about going back to WWE or whatnot or any other former WWE talents, like that question always comes up, and it's like right now they're concerned with their own promotion right now and not what the other promotion that they formerly worked at was.
I hated that when Jeff was in Impact and anytime someone said, hey, what do you think about WWE? Oh, I think I might retire there. Steven, did you hear Jeff's gonna go back? No, he said he might retire there.
It's like, yes, I do agree with you. You do fault the interviewer. But as a wrestler, anytime, or as a person in general, anytime you have something happen to you in your life or a question comes along or whatever, it's about how you handle it. So these talents could actually take that question, reverse it, and actually hype up their own brand, hype up the person that's employing them. Instead, they're buying into it. They're just on the interview and they're going along with it. And now they're hyping up a place that may never employ them, So when I'm saying I respect Seth Rollins for doing that, and when I first saw that tweet, I respected it because it's like, you know what, WWE is getting a lot of backlash, but he's pledging like his loyalty to them, and that I don't fault him for. You know what I mean? He's contracted with them. He loves the company. He obviously enjoys working there. He's one of the top guys. However, what I do fault Seth Rollins for is critiquing Dean Ambrose's situation or the comments about Will. That's where now I'm disinterested.
So where I'm thinking is my biggest thought process in this is now that so they kind of denied it, but it's whatever, it has to be said, that now that he and Becky are openly in a relationship together, he's now this big Twitter troll that he wants to go and talk shit to all these people.
Talk shit like she can.
No, absolutely not. Because he gets himself dug into a hole. Because no one actually cares about what he's saying. he's actually getting way more
Heat.
Yeah, he's getting way more heat than anything. So is he just trying to, like, he's their Universal Champion? Isn't that like their version of WWE Champion, like on Raw? That's like their biggest.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, it's considered the WWE's highest belt now.
yes, exactly. So do you think that, one, if he wasn't with Becky and had such a high expectation on social media comparing with her, where she's not even, what is she, not even champion anymore? No, she is. SmackDown? Raw? I don't know. Raw. So where they're the two champions, do you think it would be the other case? Or if he wasn't even a champion at all, you don't hear him saying anything like that ever. He's worked for them for how long?
Oh.
And that Dean interview has been out for how long? And now he decides to say something?
No, I agree with you. But I did respect the perception of like, hey, you know, WWE is getting a lot of shit. Here, I'm gonna hype it up because, and like I said, I get it. He's their top guy right now, technically, because of the position that he's in. But like, I think it's a lost art, just in general in wrestling, where it's like, when you go on an interview or when you're hyping something up, don't hype up the company that might not even friggin' sign you. Like, they could. Don't bash them. Don't bash them. Don't be like, oh, WWE sucks, unless you really want to go there.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't have to answer that question in that way. And you can still answer the question and pay respect to the interviewer and their job and what they're trying to do, but you can put it in a way where it hypes up you, hypes up your position, your current company, and also hypes up your company. And that's something that never ends up getting done. Everybody just buys into the WWE bullshit, and that's irritating. But I do think that Seth Rollins is wrong for judging Dean Ambrose's situation, because Dean Ambrose, it doesn't come down to money and all that stuff. He's happy. So as a friend, you should just be like, you know, he's happy there, you know, and he brought up personal experiences with Vince that made him unhappy, that Vince was trying to make him out to be this joke. And he was unhappy with that. For Seth Rollins to just completely, you know, disregard that and not be in tune with that and not have respect for Dean Ambrose's situation, positions, and the reasoning why he's shared his story, I think is a bit ridiculous. But also going into that and kind of mocking Will Ospreay, when Will Ospreay is easily, regardless of what you have opinions based on him, he's easily one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, talent-wise, in the ring. So,
yeah, no, I 100% agree. That's kind of where I am at right now. And then I saw a lot of stuff like going on about both of their personal like things that have happened in the past or things that have been said, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with what anyone's saying.
Yeah.
The deepest it ever got was money. And
right.
When you're not happy with what you do, like, how many of these WWE guys have left because they weren't happy? No one cares about the money.
Yeah.
None of them care about the money. So why Seth Rollins was never treated like Dean Ambrose. He never had to get a shot in his ass ever. Like,
no.
Come on.
And it was never pitched for him to like ride a unicycle and all this stuff. Stupid crap. So I mean, it's just. It's annoying when you see this stuff happen, but it's also just the reality of the situation. Like, he's getting a lot of airtime. He's getting a lot of money. He's in a great position, which good for him. He deserves it. He is a good wrestler.
He has a lot. Like, that's how it has been for most of it. One of the Shield has been in the title picture for as long as they've really been around, basically. Yeah. One of them have had a title, like, almost the whole time.
And I'm happy for him, but then like with this stuff, like I like Seth Rollins, but
yeah, same.
I was just kind of like, part of me, I don't know if I want to frame it as like lost a little bit of respect, but it was just like, I don't agree with 2/3 of the stuff that you're saying. You know, hype up your brand, hype up your company, but to kind of try to tear down a talent that's not in the same company as you. Because like if he went after like Finn Balor, let's say, to hype up a program or something, now you're doing your job. You know, you're hyping up a storyline or a potential feud or whatever. But to go after somebody that's not even in the same company as you guys probably aren't going to have a match unless 2 months down the line you decide that you're unhappy because you're getting shot in the ass now, which probably isn't going to happen. But, like, that does nothing. There's no end game there. It's just to be an asshole.
Yeah, that's where I don't understand. Because Will Ospreay was kind of very, like, he was very, like, kind of subtle and nice about it. And, like, because he was like, where are you ever going to find wrestling like this? And it was literally basically describing Will Ospreay. And he's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm alive. Like, that's me. you're talking about, and then he's kind of, and then Seth starts going off, and I'm like, dude, like,
Yeah.
come on.
And him saying, like, oh, we already have the better version, and Ricochet, like, Ricochet's an amazing talent, but, like...
I honestly think Will Ospreay kind of made Ricochet. Like, their matches, their PWG matches, made Ricochet, like, a name.
Yeah.
Seriously. And there's even pictures of Seth Rollins watching a Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match. And then he claims to really not know who he is, kind of, like...
Yeah. It's just, like, that petty bullshit, and I think what hurts... I think Seth, honestly, is taking the Dean Ambrose situation personal. Like, almost like...
Where John never said... Dean never said really anything bad about anyone at all, actually.
Just Vince, but he deserves it.
Yeah. I don't understand where, like, Seth is coming. I think it's more so, like, people would probably group them in the same category. Oh, since Dean thinks this, then this is probably what Seth thinks. So, well, I would understand it, but, like, there's just a way to handle things. Like, Twitter beef is just the dumbest thing in wrestling Twitter, too, just because it literally makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then there's always going to be that one person who ends up looking like a douche, and in this case, it's Seth. Like, and that's probably the worst thing for them to do, is because it's not going to draw interest towards Seth. It's going to take interest away from Seth and bring it towards Will Ospreay. WWE needs right now.
It's kind of like the high school senior mocking the freshman.
Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't help that much, especially when WWE, you look at their ratings over time and they've dropped drastically. And when you have your top guy and your guy that's holding the championship and is in this storyline with Becky Lynch where they are at the forefront, and then this happens and you do this and it wasn't even necessary, there was really no point of it, it just doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't help, it hurts.
I'll say he's just playing on Twitter bully.
Yeah, and then especially seeing like all other like wrestling Twitter like wrestlers being like, this is so freaking stupid. Like, seeing them say that is really like the wake up call they should probably have gotten. And then Seth responded yesterday and said something else, and I'm like, bro, like, just leave it alone.
It just comes down to that philosophy though, that like Seth has to be unhappy in some aspect, because if he wasn't happy, or if he was truly happy, he wouldn't be taking time out of his life to just like try to bring somebody else down or try to be an asshole. So like, obviously it just goes back to that point where it's like, if you're taking time out of your day to try to like hurt somebody or belittle somebody, whatever you're doing in your life can't be all that great at all, or you can't be that content with it.
You're clearly very happy with the money that's in your bank account. Why else do you care if anyone else says anything? Like, if you're gonna tote your bank account, where it's actually been proven that even the Bucks, the Bucks are a very different story, have made way more money than even probably Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
They sold millions of dollars just in merch alone, not even considering their paid per appearance, like, matches that they do, including their group photos that they do. Like, they are the highest paid wrestlers, I believe, in the world, since I've read it. But
it's believable. It's very
I remember seeing that was a couple of years ago. That's before AEW even was like a thought. So for me, like, I don't like the money thing, because there are a lot of people who have turned down big contracts with WWE because they don't want to give up their freedom. And I think Seth does have the potential to be a Will Ospreay type wrestler, but not in WWE. So don't even like kind of try and compare the two, especially since no one has seen you really do anything outside of WWE ever.
Yeah.
Like, I believe he could be amazing in a Will Ospreay, but as of right now, and what we have seen, you're no Will Ospreay.
Okay. So let's cool down a little bit. Cool. Breathe.
We're talking about.
Woo!
I'm not going to be cool for like an hour.
Let's. That's our final topic, and it's the breaking news from earlier. Is Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff have been named the executive directors over Raw and SmackDown. Paul Heyman has Raw. Eric Bischoff has SmackDown, is what it's currently laid out. Caesar mentioned something earlier about Fox saying, no, we'd rather have Paul Heyman. What are you talking about?
They weren't even aware about the creative change as well. Like,
Yeah.
Fox was not known ahead of time, which I don't know if they really should have. I mean, it's, this is internally within the company, but, I mean, the way that I kind of see this is just, I feel, to them, even with the Fox move, I just find Raw to just be their main priority, which is why I see Paul Heyman being the director for Raw to help, get them talents across. Because he's been working with Alexa Bliss, with Ronda, of course, with Brock. So I feel, for the character development, Paul Heyman's definitely in charge of Raw. But when it comes for SmackDown, I think they want someone with experience handling with other networks, which is why I feel Eric Bischoff was chosen for SmackDown. And I mean, also, I don't know how well of a coach Eric Bischoff can be, but I mean, he's definitely like one of the best performers that they've had. That first run where he was the GM for Raw, I thought he was great. He was on Impact. Even when he was on Impact, I thought he was pretty good too. Obviously, he's not coming in as an on-screen talent, but I mean, hopefully he can help bring something new to SmackDown. It's just that when I hear that, the thing is, like, wild card, whatever. I think the wild card thing is now bullshit because I think on SmackDown we had like 10, or not SmackDown, Raw, we had like 10 SmackDown talent on Raw. So that's completely like what I think they're just giving up on the whole wild card thing and just having whoever they want on whatever show, whichever amount of people. And just, to me, how do you kind of differentiate, Raw and SmackDown when you're having the same talent appear between both shows? Because to me, that would be why you would want like two different people working two different shows.
It would make sense, and it'd be hopeful because the wild card rule, as exciting as it is for, sometimes with R-Truth and people chasing down, it's turning SmackDown into nothing more than Raw Rewind.
Which is what it was before.
The
whole brand.
They need to make SmackDown great again, keep the show separate. Vince needs to realize that if you need to bring the SmackDown people to Raw to help Raw's ratings, that shows you that SmackDown did a better job creating interest in their superstars. You need to do that same thing for Raw, not just bring the SmackDown people over. We've already bored Brett. We've bored him back off. He doesn't watch the WWE. He's anti-E.
I can't stand them so much. But, like, I do have to say, I like what Eric Bischoff did say. I think he did, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he did, like, a panel or whatever, and he said that the problem with the product now, A, is the wild card rule, but my niece could even point that out, and she's 10. But he did point out that it has to be, like, two different products, you know what I mean? You have to have two different rosters. You can't have this. You can't have this, like, wild card stuff going on because it just ruins the product. And they have to provide something different. You can't watch Raw and then watch SmackDown and you're watching them for the same reasons because people aren't going to tune into both. There has to be a reason. And I remember SmackDown and Raw being really watchable at one point. You know what I mean? You didn't want to miss either show because of different talents, different storylines were taking place. But it all comes down to storylines with WWE. They've given up on storylines. A lot of times, you can have the best wrestlers in the world, and that can get you far, but it only can get you to a certain extent. You have to get people emotionally invested in your product, and if you can't do that, which they have not been able to, then you have this happen, and people just slowly die off. You know what I mean? You can't have Goldberg and Undertaker gonna, pop in and save the day. That's just not how it works. Yeah, it gets the casual fan interested, but
Speaking of popping in and saving the day, Undertaker popped up on Raw to save the big dog, but fuck you, Undertaker, because you didn't save Miz as playing favorites. That's not fair.
But I don't know.
Continue.
I'm one of those.
That's why we're pulling down here.
Eric
I
Bischoff.
had to get one heat up.
Eric Bischoff sounds very promising in that panel that I watched. He had a lot of, he was open and honest about the issues and what he would want. But to me, it just sounds so political. It's like you can say all this shit all you want, but get there and
kind of
just
you can say whatever you want if you're not gonna apply it.
Politics. That's all it is. It's politics.
I do think if they're gonna kill off the I don't think they're gonna kill off the wild card rule, honestly. But I think what they need to do is actually make a rule. they're like you can only have one team faction.
Well, I mean, they basically do.
Back and forth.
The only people using the wild card rule are what? Roman, the Usos.
No, I mean like
Kofi.
one.
Yeah, it's the same people every week using the rule.
Yeah, which is fucking stupid.
But then it becomes the same product.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
But then again, sorry to interrupt. But then again, it's like if it's like different people, like let's say, because I remember it was one week. I think it was Apollo. It's like, would anyone really care if Apollo showed up on the other brands? It's like, because it's like, you the reason for the wild card is to have your top guys on both shows to get people watching, and it's like that to me is just a detriment because it's like you're wasting a spot to help build someone.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they need to make 2 products, have 2 rosters of people, do the draft. The draft is so interesting. You don't even have to do the draft every year. You could do it every other year. And just bring in your NXT talents when needed or necessary. But like make it 2 distinct rosters, 2 distinct shows. That's when they were at their best, I would argue, is when you could tune into Raw, you had your storylines, you had your talent, you knew who you were going to see, and then you go into SmackDown and they have this and they're providing this
Totally
storyline.
separate things.
Yeah.
Which at one point Paul Heyman was heading SmackDown, so just to tie into the current news.
I mean, Paul Heyman is well-rounded, and Eric Bischoff in that panel sounded very promising. But like, if they don't do things or they're not allowed to do things because of Vince, then it's not going to matter. And the wild card rule being no longer is like the first easy step to just make things so much simpler.
You see, you mentioned Vince because that too is the other issue or factor that goes into this because as the report states, like they both report to Vince.
Right.
Vince always has the final say. And it's like, we could get excited about like, this person joining creative, this person being the executive director, but then it becomes like, what exactly does that matter if it's all Vince that gets the final say? Vince gets to decide what he puts on his product, and he could just, Bischoff and Heyman could have the best ideas, but it's like Vince could probably just turn him down and come up with his own. And it's just, that's kind of, how the product suffers, as, Moxley said in his interviews, just that Vince is just out of touch. Everything goes through Vince, and it's all Vince. And it's like, to me, it just shows that, like, the difference between, like, NXT and the main roster, like, that to me is the legit brand split because you have 2 different people working those 2 different brands, those 2 different systems.
I agree.
Yep.
And what about all those top guys that you have on main event every week? Like, who actually watches main event?
Never heard of her.
You have like Cedric Alexander and EC3 on main event literally every single week. I don't watch it. I don't know, but that's all I see them say. Like, they're the main event champions because that's all they do.
Yeah.
They don't have them on the show. Why have a wild card if you're not even using all the roster that you have?
Yep. But hopefully, fingers crossed, Bischoff and Heyman can convince Vince in regards to storylines they may come up with. Yep, hashtag Vince. We're hashtagging that. That's
and the other thing,
really rundown property. That's our trademark. Hashtag convince Vince.
just checking out this recent news that just came out. It does say that the change isn't going to be imminent. It's not going to be overnight, as they kind of want to introduce Heyman and Bischoff to the whole creative directing process. So it's not like next week we're going to see some, major changes. It's going to be over time. But it's just, in the case of Heyman, like I mentioned earlier, we've seen him, in a position where he was in charge of SmackDown. And I just wonder, if there's going to be any problems, because the detailed problems between Vince and Heyman, it's no secret that, Heyman kind of viewed himself as the boss above Vince, which, is pretty ballsy, but it's like eventually that's what kind of like led to Heyman's removal from the business for like 6 years, I believe it was. So I just wonder how that's going to all play out.
Fun. That's how it's all going to play out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to It's all gonna get better, right, guys?
My God, I hope so. It's such good shit, damn it.
You want to be hopeful, but at the same point, like,
It's been so long now, like.
and when Vince is gonna die in the chair. He's not leaving anytime soon.
No.
Yes.
Vince isn't gonna die. He's gonna transfer his conscience into a robot, and he's going to live forever.
He is a robot. What's the difference?
Anyway, I think we've let this recording run on and on and on. So.
Are we gonna do anything about the AEW things that we never really touched upon in this recording?
Because that's gonna take another hour.
What is that? This weekend or next weekend? This weekend?
That is this weekend.
All right. So should. I think some of our best stuff besides Caesar's top 5 was in the AEW, but.
Nah, we have fun with this one. All right, Caesar, give us a closeout.
Well, this was a very special edition of Wrestling Reality Rundown.
Special.
Very special, isn't that right, Brett? But regardless, we hope you guys enjoyed this very special edition of Wrestling Reality Rundown. If you have not done so, we would greatly appreciate you guys following us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Wrestling Reality Rundown. We're currently watching this on YouTube, so you see that button right there? It's the subscribe. No, that's the thumbs up. Well, hey, you could also leave a like too. You could leave there, but also right near it there's a subscribe. Yeah, there you go. Subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we also have Twitter accounts, Facebook and Instagram. We're on WRR Network FL on Twitter, WRR Network on Instagram, Wrestling Reality Rundown on Facebook, and we are all individually on Twitter at SKF Effect, at LiveLive1122, at It's a Me Invasion, at The Red Standard. At The Red Standard, you can contact me, give me your top 5 cuties list, and I will tell you why you are all wrong. And thank you, everyone, for checking us out tonight.
Your top 5 cuties, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Send us all your top 5 cuties list. We will have a good debate on Twitter. We'll have a bigger debate than the whole Ospreay and Rollins thing about who's the cutest in wrestling.
We'll break the internet.
Exactly.
All righty. On that note, good night, everybody. And